on. Not the Bundesliga.
Okay, before we go into the Bundesliga,
Yeah.
Nigerian players are doing that. Even the houses, Emenike distributed foodstuffs to motherland people. So we've seen a lot of Nigerians do that.
Okay.
It's a global thing.
Right.
Not just peculiar to the big stars.
Maybe they have a bigger media.
It's a different platform. It doesn't mean you have to give food. Sometimes you give money, you give cash. So they may not be there. They go
and some don't publicize it.
Yeah, some of them go through their agents, some of them go through their friends, family members to do that on the behalf.
Okay. All right. So I stay with you. Last week I was celebrating actually that Dortmund are back to winning ways, but back to Mother Earth. They lost again yesterday, and then Bayern 10 points clear. Is the league over in December?
Well, for so far, you can call the Bayern winter champions. Well, okay. I mean winter.
Not yet. Summer.
You know, sometimes you have to wait for official statement.
Yeah, I think I tried Frankfurt some years back.
Yes, they almost seems the only German team because I don't know whether there is what we call whether it's a conspiracy between the other clubs and Bayern.
Okay.
But if I get they can sign the best player from other clubs to beef up their squad. I don't know whether it's a grand conspiracy, whether it's an arrangement. But for Dortmund, I think they just have to get their season back on track. They just have to get themselves out of this situation, because if you come to a point, you start looking at how they can get 1 point and 2 points, because now they don't have any opportunity of going to Europe next season. I don't see whether they can do that clearly.
The
way the Bundesliga is running so far, people will say yes, it's Bayern that is dominating. But if you look at the Champions League, we have 4 Bundesliga team in the Champions League second round.
Yeah, but I want to remain with Dortmund. What is? I mean, what about younger? Is it the player?
It reminds me of some. It reminds me of
the fear factor is all for what?
The Leeds United of some years back, who played in the semi-final of the Champions League, and the next season they got relegated. And you look at the entire situation, and it doesn't add up. Dortmund, whether you like it or not, they still have good crop of players. They still have that same coach with that winning mentality. And like you said, we felt gradually they're beginning to get their rhythm together.
Yeah.
But yesterday again, they kind of relapsed. And if the care is not taken, as Nadia said, this is it, they need to get that fast and move out of that particular zone, because that's not where they belong. And you see, the fear factor will be gone. Yes. Just like what happened to Manchester United under David Moyes, and that is what Louis van Gaal is trying to bring back. Old Trafford, that used to be a slaughterhouse, has now turned to a place where anybody can come and want to break record. But it seems that we've not Manchester United has not lost to in 20-30 years. They come there and take Manchester United to the cleaners. So that's what is happening to Dortmund. But for me, you see, you can't remain at the top forever. But one thing I find difficult and baffling is the fact that, you see, the slide is just so, the decline is so fast.
Yes.
It doesn't happen like that. It's a free fall. That's what my problem is. And it should be arrested. But like, I want to disagree from Nodi. You see, Pep does not find himself in this kind of position and takes his foot off the pedal.
Yes.
Pep is a man with drive. He's a man who is driven. He's a man who has focus. From the beginning of the season, okay, this is what I want. You saw what happened last season.
Yes.
They won the league well before the probably March, exactly. And at the rate at which they are going,
yes,
I think for me, I would say that it's almost a given that
when he won those 6 titles in his first year in Barcelona, people said, you know, that I mean, maybe this is the thing, you can't get better than that. And the guy went on to win about, you know, the 2 Champions League trophies, and then trying to go and succeed a coach that has not won the Champions League.
Exactly.
People said, what are you going to achieve? And he didn't start well, because I mean they lost some key matches, you know, initially, and we're saying, man, it's not going to work. But right now, the guy
is working.
Is he cementing his name now as one of the greatest coaches the world has ever known?
I think that's an understatement. That's all. Whether you like it or not, you can't take it away from him. If you are listing 5 top coaches in the world now, you can't but mention Pep Guardiola. Whether because he has done well for himself with his record at Barcelona, some people have said it's because the kind of player he's been able to work with at Barcelona.
Is that your Robert's left leg?
Yeah, exactly. But now he's been able to go to Bayern.
Yeah. Change their style of play. Yes.
And now we can see the German team not playing the defensive football. They're playing
Tiki-taka.
Tiki-taka.
Okay, tiki league, is it? No, the guy, let's get the word. That tiki, what are they doing now?
Let's call it tiki.
Okay, let's call it tiki. I mean, that means, I mean, like you are saying, maybe the league, this one, I don't see anybody, you know, overturning them, because their nearest rival has to be Dortmund, and
And unfortunately, they're not anywhere close as we speak.
In terms of pedigree,
yeah,
the nearest rival has to be Dortmund. But in terms of performance so far this season, their nearest rival is, I think, is Wolfsburg.
Wolfsburg. Yeah, and then Wolfsburg were champions about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, under Felix Magath. We had Edin Dzeko.
Yeah.
We had Graffiti. That was a season that they were almost invisible.
Invisible. And then right now they are not very visible.
Very struggling.
but they are struggling. They are doing well.
But these are first biggest. I think their first highest positions they've ever been in the last 5-6 seasons.
Okay. All right. We'll now come back. We'll come back to England, because in England that is 60-70% of Nigerian football fans. Of course, you pitch your tent with one English team or the other. Chelsea became visible last week, courtesy of Newcastle. The invisibility left, and the Gunners fans celebrated. While they were still celebrating, they were stoked. And then you now come in to say what is happening here. Southampton are on the free fall. Just you had Yemi here talking about Dortmund falling, but Southampton 4 in a row they've gone down. But it's like they came back to winning ways yesterday. Yemi, Chelsea 2-0 overall.
It was good for them. After the loss to Newcastle, everybody were of the opinion that let's see how they would react. But for me, even Mourinho after the game said it wasn't a fantastic performance, but at least a performance that will guarantee them the 3 point. In that kind of situation, all you need is that particular 3 point. But really, whichever way you want to look at it, they're having a few injury problems, but even at that, they were able to get the 3 point. It was absolutely good for them. That talking about Chelsea. And then for Southampton, they were in the top 4 for long period of time.
Cinderella
But you see, the time it has come in the league, especially this December period, where the boys are being separated from the men because of the number of matches you would have to play. And for the first time, they lost the first game, lost against Man City, lost against Arsenal, lost against Man U, and again yesterday.
Who actually did that particular fixture when you put them again back to back? I mean, the Man City, Arsenal, Manchester United.
Nobody planned it that way.
Are you sure?
Planned they were going to be in the top 4. So it comes that way, but it's unfortunate.
Can they protest?
Unfortunately, they can. Some of those games they would feel outdone by that. At least probably they should have gotten a point. Yeah. Especially in the game against Man U. You saw what they rallied around and tried to getting an equalizer in the final minute, but thank God to the very, very
even in the game against Arsenal.
The game against Arsenal too. Yeah. It wasn't that they played badly, but at times you see they play the eye line, and when this counter comes, they find it difficult to run back to defend their line, and that's where they found themselves. Man City without an Aguero, they're also doing well, putting pressure on Chelsea. Chelsea won in the earlier game, and Man City again saying no. We would keep you we didn't reach 3 points, and which is really
it's okay. We'll come to that. We'll have a few minutes to talk on the English league.